all Lycan fans out there, you've probably seen a great deal of werewolf movies and shows. But have you seen all of them? In this video, we're gonna go over the 8 hidden werewolf shows that you probably missed. Let's get to it. When it comes to werewolf movies or shows, it always reminds me of the dark, eerie vibes that they bring, which sneak up on you and keep you hooked to your screen. I don't think anyone would disagree with the fact that we all had that werewolf-obsessed phase, which basically turned us into detectives trying to find werewolf movies or series from the deep corners of the internet. We generally remember the big names, the iconic characters that stayed in the spotlight, but we often miss out on some real hidden gems that we randomly stumble across late at night or find buried deep on a streaming platform that nobody talks about. And so, I have handpicked some of the most underrated, forgotten, and super interesting werewolf series to save you the trouble. Some of these series were ahead of their time. Some got overshadowed, and the others just quietly faded away. So, if you want to save your time and choose your next pick, you are at the right place. Let's begin our exploration. The Order. The first and foremost series we're gonna talk about is The Order. It aired on Netflix back in 2019 and continued for 2 seasons. The story drops us straight into this elite university campus called Belgrave University, where our main protagonist, aka Jack Morton, is a freshman in the secret society known as the Hermetic Order of the Blue Rose, where sorcery is taught and practiced. So, for a bit of background, Edward Coventry is the Grand Magus of the Order, and also Jack's estranged father, but Edward is unaware of this fact. Moreover, Jack wasn't just there to learn about sorcery, but his real motive was to avenge his mother who had killed herself. As he digs into his family's secrets, Jack discovers there's an ongoing secret war between the sorcerers and werewolves who are involved in dark magic. The brewing werewolf versus sorcerer enmity makes the show 10 times more interesting. But the saddest part is that even though the makers of the show were ready for a comeback with a 3rd season, Netflix decided to cancel it. So, as compensation for the fans, the creator, Dennis Heaton, gifted the fans with the basic storyline that Season 3 was going to offer. You should definitely give it a shot, because even with a serious werewolf versus sorcery drama, the series feels genuinely fun and lighthearted to watch with its charming cast, mythology-driven plot, and supernatural twists. It just received the same fate as many other series, which get cancelled by the streaming platforms because they're not a massive hit. But this one is definitely worth your attention, so hurry up and put it on your watch list already. Hemlock Grove. Next on the list, we have one of the most unforgettable entries, and that is Hemlock Grove, another Netflix series that was released back in 2013 and ran for 3 seasons. You have to trust me when I say this one is a wild ride. In the story, strange things keep happening in an eerie fictional town called Hemlock Grove, located in Pennsylvania. Here, our main character is Roman Godfrey, played by actor Bill Skarsgård. Yes, the same man who plays Pennywise. He's rich and the heir to the Godfrey family, and he even befriends a newcomer to the town named Peter Rumansek. When a series of brutal murders strike fear among the townsfolk, these two team up to figure out what is really going on while hiding their own mysteries. And this is where the show gets more interesting. The best part is that you get everything here, starting from werewolves and vampires to Frankenstein-like creations, and even ghosts and witches. The show literally said, why pick only one supernatural element when we can throw in everything? And the most surprising part is that the show was actually a massive hit at launch. It reportedly got more views in its first weekend than House of Cards, but despite its popularity in the beginning, the viewership and ratings dropped gradually. So Netflix announced Season 3 as its final season. The ending was a good closure for the fans, but here's the catch. You either love it or hate it. On one hand, it's a cult classic for how bold and chaotic it was. On the other hand, there is a mix of declining viewership and pretty harsh critical reviews. Despite it all, this one is definitely worth checking out. Bitten. This Canadian series has one of the most interesting and intriguing storylines, and it's actually an adaptation of The Women of the Otherworld book series by Kelly Armstrong. So, imagine being the only female werewolf in existence and wanting absolutely nothing to do with that life. That is exactly where Elena Michael stands. She is just trying to live a normal life by working as a photographer in a new city while hiding her identity. But of course, this peace does not last long. She gets dragged right back into the same world she tried to escape when some brutal killings start happening near her old pack's territory. If you're into tough, powerful female protagonists, this one is right for you. And the wildest part is, Angelina Jolie was actually considered for Elena at one point, but for the movie adaptation, which was never made. But apart from that, what makes this series stand out is how personal it all feels. It explores how she struggles with identity, control, and the dark fate of constantly being pulled between two lives. The show ran for 3 seasons and thankfully even got a proper ending, so it was mainly cancelled because the whole supernatural TV trend started fading out around that time. But the werewolf fans never forget their roots, so maybe this can be your next pick. Werewolf. Now, this series feels like a forgotten relic and is the oldest series in our list today that premiered back in 1987 to 88. The storyline might be very basic, but let's not forget it was made in the late 80s. So, the story revolves around Eric Cord. He is a fellow college student who is cursed into becoming a werewolf. And as he tries to track down the man who started it all in his bloodline, aka Janos Korseni, things get worse. He only wanted to end the curse and live a normal life. But, in turn, he gets chased by the police and is on the run. So basically, he always travels from place to place, takes odd jobs, and gets chased constantly. One thing is, you won't get bored while watching this. It's packed with the old school nostalgic vibe, but the frustrating part is that the show got cancelled before the story could even properly end because of its low ratings and behind-the-scenes issues with the cast. For the late 80s, it was genuinely good and ahead of its time with its amazing special effects done by Rick Baker and soundtrack by Sylvester Levay. This show was a genuine forerunner to every werewolf-related series that followed after, and honestly, that alone makes me feel like it deserves a watch. Wolfblood. Wolfblood is a British-German fantasy-based teen drama series created by Debbie Moon. It has a very interesting plot. So, basically, this series focuses on the life of a species called wolfbloods. These creatures completely look like humans, but they have enhanced senses compared to normal humans, and they can even turn themselves into werewolves according to their will. So, we get to see how they navigate their everyday life among humans by hiding who they are. It begins with 2 teenage wolfbloods, Maddie and Rydian, who are trying to survive school while keeping their identities hidden. But as the series moves forward, we see their DNA get harvested by the corporate entities, and their secrets get exposed to the world. However, this series definitely impressed everyone. It won the Royal Television Society Award for Children's Drama in 2013. But after season 3, the 3 main supporting cast members, Rydian, Shannon, and Tom, left the show, and so the creators had to do a full character refresh. And well, this divided the fandom into 2 sections. Some thought the show lost its heart, while others felt it was a bold reinvention. It still ran for 5 seasons before it ended in 2017. The show did not get cancelled, but it wasn't further commissioned by CBBC. Overall, it's a great show, especially for the teens to watch. Wolf Lake. This series starts with an unsettling and dark feeling. There's a pack of werewolves living in the suburbs of Seattle. Things go downhill when John Kanan, a cop in Seattle, proposes to his girlfriend, and minutes later, she disappears from her car. The only thing Kanan finds is her severed hand. This is why I said it's unsettling right from the start. So naturally, he tries to track her down to her hometown, which is Wolf Lake. It's a quiet little place that might feel normal on the surface, but obviously isn't. The deeper he digs, the more he realizes the town is hiding a pack of werewolves living in plain sight. The whole setup has a very similar vibe to Twin Peaks. Also, here's a fun fact. Even before Paul Wesley, aka Stefan Salvatore, did The Vampire Diaries, he starred in this show as a werewolf named Lucas Cates. But I also have to bring you the sad news. This show definitely had potential, but it never really stood a chance. It premiered right after 9/11, so the viewership and ratings were affected because of that. Even though 9 episodes were produced, CBS canceled it after 5 episodes. Later, in April 2002, the 4 other episodes were broadcast on another platform. However, this show is a perfect example of the wrong time, wrong network shows. But if you like a slow burning mystery filled with werewolves, this show is right up your alley. Being Human. Well, this British supernatural comedy TV series by Toby Whithouse is honestly one of the smartest shows on this list. I feel this will catch your attention the moment you hear the plot. So, in the show, there's a vampire, Mitchell, a werewolf, George Sands, and a literal ghost, Annie Sawyer. They live together as roommates and want to live a normal life like humans by blending in with them. I feel the main highlight of the show is how well it uses supernatural metaphors. For example, Mitchell, aka the vampire's blood addiction, is portrayed as substance abuse, while the werewolf represents the violent suppressive impulses that sophisticated people bury or mask. And lastly, the ghost symbolizes grief and unresolved loss. The show definitely left its mark on the viewers, because in the span from 2009 to 2013, it received 11 awards and 11 nominations across various ceremonies. This show had a long run for 5 years before ending on good and meaningful terms. It is the perfect show if you are in the mood for something deep, emotional, and funny at the same time, and you won't have to worry about not getting a proper ending. So hurry up, don't miss out on this one. She-Wolf of London. Last, but certainly not least, we have one more forgotten classic, and that is She-Wolf of London. Here, our female protagonist, Randy Wallace, is an American student who travels to London to study mythology under Professor Ian Matheson. They both get close and feel attracted to each other, but things get bad when she ends up getting bitten by a werewolf. From there, the plot becomes a mix of supernatural mystery filled with slow burn romance, as she and Ian investigate strange supernatural cases together while searching for a cure for her lycanthropy. Honestly, the amount of chemistry and tension between the two leads is insane. But again, this series was also another victim of the cancelled shows. This series faces a lot of budget issues, which forced the show to shift locations and even rebrand itself midway, which completely changed its vibe. Eventually, the new network backing also collapsed, and the show got cancelled before Randy's story could even properly end. Thus, she never received her cure. Still, I feel this series was way ahead of its time for its horror, romance, and humor before it even became popular. So it deserves all the appreciation. And if you're also into old school supernatural shows with romantic tropes, this one is a hidden gem for you to check out. And so with that, we come to the end of this video. Even though the mentioned shows faced a lot of ups and downs, they definitely had a lot of potential that we overlooked. Each of them is unique in their own way. So, if you're tired of watching the mainstream picks, here is a perfectly curated list of hidden gems for you. Let us know your reviews in the comment section down below, and do not forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, goodbye.